In the fall of 1992, if you turned on your television, you could see things that today seem impossible. Daniel Craig and chainmail playing a 14th century knight, Jennifer Aniston doing sketch comedy on Fox, an 18-year-old Hilary Swank playing a TGIF teenager, Jared Leto recurring as a motorcycle bad boy on the same sitcom, Patti LaBelle running a Los Angeles nightclub. The 1992 to 1993 television season was the strangest, most pre-famous, most aggressively canceled year in network history. The networks had no idea what they had until they had already canceled it. Today, we're counting down 10 forgotten 1992 to 1993 TV disasters. Number 1 features a future A-lister 2 years before America knew her name. Number 10, Covington Cross on ABC.
It was his idea.
That is a lie.
Enough, both of you. I want this place put back together.
In 1992, ABC decided what American Tuesday night television really needed was a medieval drama set in 14th century England. Reeves Entertainment and Thames Television co-produced. ABC handed them a 13-episode order. Production was handled entirely in the United Kingdom for budget reasons. Covington Cross premiered ABC on August 25, 1992. The setting is England in the 1950s. Sir Thomas Grey, played by Nigel Terry, who had played King Arthur in John Boorman's 1981 fantasy classic Excalibur, is a widowed knight raising 4 headstrong children at a castle. His love interest is Lady Elizabeth, played by Cherie Lungi, who had played Guinevere in the same Excalibur film 11 years earlier. The two reunite as romantic leads in the series. His 4 children, tomboy daughter Eleanor, played by Lone Skye, fresh off Say Anything, and the daughter of 1960s folk star Donovan. His 3 sons, Armus, Richard, and Cedric, played by Tim Killick, Jonathan Firth, and Glenn Quinn. Glenn Quinn would the following year join Roseanne as Mark Healy. The recurring villain was Baron Mullins, played by James Faulkner. A young Greg Wise, the future husband of Emma Thompson and star of Sense and Sensibility, played his son. The biggest hidden gem of them all, Daniel Craig, 12 years before he became James Bond in Casino Royale, made a guest appearance in 1 episode. Joel Cerno, the future co-creator of 24, was on the writing staff. Filmed at Arrington Castle in Kent and Shepperton Studios. Music by Carl Davis, the legendary British film composer behind Pride and Prejudice and Champions. Critics called it a British bonanza. Only 7 of the 13 filmed episodes aired before ABC canceled it on October 31st, 1992. The remaining 6 episodes were never broadcast in the United States. Number 9. Going to Extremes on ABC.
I did exactly as you told me. I put the crystal violet on, then the iodine, alcohol, and saffron, and rinsed them off.
For how long?
In 1990, Joshua Brand and John Falsey had created Northern Exposure for CBS. The show about a New York Jewish doctor stuck in a small town in Alaska had become a critical, daring, and multiple Emmy winner. In 1992, ABC offered Brand and Falsey anything to make a similar show. They teamed up with writer Frank South to pitch Going to Extremes. Going to Extremes premiered ABC on September 1st, 1992. The premise? A wealthy British-American doctor has built a Caribbean medical school called Croft University on the fictional island of Saint Jantique. Wealthy American students who could not get into stateside medical schools study under tropical conditions. The series was filmed on location in Jamaica. The students included Erica Alexander, 1 year before she would become Maxine Shaw on Living Single. Joanna Going, Daniel Jenkins, and Camilo Gallardo also play students. Robert Duncan McNeil plays Colin Mitford. 2 years later, McNeil would be cast as Lieutenant Tom Paris on Star Trek Voyager and direct dozens of episodes himself. The faculty includes Roy Dotrice as Dr. Henry Croft, the school's eccentric founder. June Chadwick plays Dr. Alice Davis, the seductive female doctor. Carl Lumbly, the future star of Alias and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, plays Dr. Michael Norris. Charles Keating, the Emmy-winning soap star of Another World, plays Dr. Jack Vandeweghe. Music by Jay Ferguson, the former frontman of the rock band Spirit. Variety called the show Southern Exposure with a sigh. The Northern Exposure quirky vibe did not translate. 17 episodes aired. ABC canceled it January 27, 1993. Number 8. Crossroads on ABC.
Hey, I said I called. You never called me back. I sent you a check.
Oh, great. My dad sent me a check.
In 1992, Robert Urich was 46 years old and one of the most reliable leading men on American television. He had headlined Vegas for 3 seasons. He had headlined Spencer for Hire for 4 seasons. He had starred in a string of well-rated TV movies. But he had not had a hit in 5 years. ABC offered him another shot. The premise? A New York City prosecutor abandons his career to ride a motorcycle across America with his estranged son. Crossroads premiered on ABC on September 14, 1992. Urich plays Johnny Hawkins, a Manhattan assistant district attorney being considered for the top prosecutor job. Then his estranged 16-year-old son, Dylan, played by Dalton James, gets into trouble in Seattle. Johnny is a recovering alcoholic who has been absent from Dylan's life for 7 years, having left because he believed Dylan would be better off with his wealthy grandparents. He decides to make amends by taking his son on a long motorcycle journey across the country. They ride a vintage motorcycle, they meet strangers, they solve small-town problems, they reconnect. Created by James Stephen Sadwith, executive produced by Michael Apted, the British documentary filmmaker behind the Up series and the Bond film The World Is Not Enough. A young Marley Shelton, future star of Sin City and Planet Terror, appeared in a guest role. A young Jonathan Brandis, post Neverending Story 2 and pre-Sequest DSV, also guest starred. The show is a direct stylistic descendant of the 1960s series Route 66, which had followed 2 young men touring America in a Chevrolet Corvette. 12 episodes were filmed. Only 10 aired before ABC canceled the show. The final 2 were burned off in July 1993. Number 7. Delta on ABC.
Let the teardrops fall. You said you wasn't gonna call.
In April 1991, CBS fired Delta Burke from Designing Women. The dismissal came after a famously bitter public feud between Burke and creator Linda Bloodworth Thomason over weight, working conditions, and creative control. ABC saw an opportunity. They handed Burke her own starring vehicle. Delta premiered on ABC on September 15, 1992, Tuesday nights right after Roseanne. Burke plays Delta Bishop, a small-town Arkansas housewife who learns her husband has been unfaithful. She quits her hair salon job and moves to Nashville to pursue her childhood dream of becoming a country music singer like her idol Pasty Cline. She moves into the garage apartment of her cousin, Lavone, played by Gigi Rice, and Lavone's husband Buck, played by a then-unknown Bill Engvall, 8 years before the blue-collar comedy tour made him a star. Earl Holliman plays the bar owner Darden Toe, created by Miriam Trogdon, produced by Burke's own company Perseverance Incorporated. Theme song was Reba McEntire's Climb That Mountain High. Willie Nelson, John Schneider, and Tanya Tucker all guest starred. Burke dyed her hair blonde for the role. Let Out from Roseanne pulled good ratings initially. Then ABC moved Delta to Thursdays opposite The Simpsons. Ratings collapsed. 17 episodes aired. Canceled August 25, 1993. Number 6. The Hat Squad on CBS.
I did it last time. No, forget that. Hey, shut up. We're gonna cut cards, low card losers,
Not the
all right?
card. Come on. I always lose.
Stephen J. Cannell in 1992 was the most powerful independent television producer in America. He had created The Rockford Files, The A-Team, 21 Jump Street, Wise Guy, and dozens of other shows. He pitched CBS a new series about 3 orphan brothers who grow up to become hat-wearing vigilante cops in modern Los Angeles. CBS bought it. The Hat Squad premiered on CBS on September 16, 1992. Police Captain Mike Ragland, played by James Tolkien, the iconic Mr. Strickland from Back to the Future, and his wife Kitty adopt 3 boys whose parents were murdered by criminals. The boys grow up wearing fedoras and emulating the 1930s LAPD detective hat squads. The brothers Buddy, played by Don Michael Paul, Raphael, played by Nestor Serrano, a pacifist who refuses to carry a gun, Maddie, played by Billy Warlock from Baywatch and Days of Our Lives, the one studying to be a lawyer. The pilot was directed by Rob Bowman, 2 years before he became the principal director of The X-Files. Kim Manners, another future X-Files director, also directed episodes. Music by Mike Post. Production filmed in Vancouver. CBS scheduled the show on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. 11 episodes aired. CBS canceled it January 23, 1993. Number 5. Mann Machine on NBC.
Dave Murphy, Eve Edison, Bobby Mann.
In 1991, Dick Wolf was a former Hill Street Blues writer who had just launched Law & Order on NBC. The show was in its second season and slowly building toward becoming an institution. NBC asked Wolf for a second show. His pitch was a sci-fi police procedural about a detective and his android partner. NBC said yes. Mann Machine premiered on NBC on April 5, 1992. Set in Los Angeles 20 years in the future, the show follows Detective Bobby Mann, played by David Andrews, 5 years after his lead role in Cherry 2000. Mann is partnered with the first female police android, Sergeant Eve Edison, played by Yancey Butler in her breakout role. Eve learns about human emotion as she solves crimes. Their captain, Margaret Cleghorn, is played by S. Epatha Merkerson. 2 years before she joined Law & Order as Lieutenant Anita Van Buren and started her own 17-year run. Critics compared the show unfavorably to the 1976 ABC sitcom Holmes and Yo-Yo. NBC pulled the plug after only 4 episodes were aired. The remaining 5 were burned off across the summer of 1992 as filler. 9 episodes total. Canceled July 14, 1992. Number 4. Out All Night on NBC. In 1992, NBC was desperate to expand its black sitcom programming after the runaway success of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which had premiered in 1990. They hired Andy Borowitz, Susan Borowitz, and Rob Edwards, the same team that had developed Fresh Prince, to create a new sitcom built around a music legend. They cast Patti LaBelle, the 4-time Grammy nominee. The show was Out All Night. Out All Night premiered on NBC on September 19, 1992. LaBelle plays Chelsea Page, a former singer who now owns a Los Angeles nightclub called Club Chelsea. Morris Chestnut, 1 year after his star-making turn as Ricky and the Boys in the Hood, plays Jeff Carswell, a recent NYU graduate hired to manage the club. Dwayne Martin plays his irreversible best friend and roommate, Vidal Thomas. Vivica A. Fox, 4 years before Independence Day made her a star, plays Chelsea's stylist daughter, Charisse. A young Taj Mowry, 4 years before Smart Guy, played the recurring child character, Siobhan. Theme song performed by Patti LaBelle herself. Music supervision by Quincy Jones III. Guest stars in 20 episodes included Michael Dorn from Star Trek, Luther Vandross, Mary J. Blige, MC Hammer, Bobby Brown, Gladys Knight, Dionne Warwick, and TLC. The series was set in the same fictional universe as The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. 20 episodes aired. NBC canceled it July 9, 1993. Number 3. Woops on Fox.
Well, the sooner we move it, the sooner we can start plowing.
There's incentive for you.
In 1992, the Fox network was 3 years into its existence and desperate to launch a hit. They greenlit one of the most unhinged sitcom premises in network history. The pitch? A post-apocalyptic comedy in which 6 strangers survive a global nuclear holocaust and must rebuild civilization in an abandoned Iowa farmhouse. Fox said yes. Woops premiered on Fox on September 27, 1992. The plot opens with Mark Braddock, played by Evan Handler, the future Harry Goldenblatt, on in the city, making a deposit at a drive-up bank window in his Volvo. A flash of nuclear light obliterates everything. Mark and his Volvo are somehow spared. He wanders across the destroyed countryside until he finds the farmhouse. There, he meets 5 other survivors. Dr. Frederick Ross, a research biologist played by Cleveland Derricks, Alice McConnell, a nurse played by Megan Frey, Curtis Thorpe, an obnoxious venture capitalist played by Lane Davies, Suzanne Stillman, a hair salon employee played by Marita Girardi, Jack Connors, the bumbling farm owner played by Fred Applegate. Created by Gary Jacobs, produced by Wynn Thomas Productions, the same powerhouse behind The Golden Girls, Empty Nest, Soap, and Benson, in association with Touchstone Television. Directed by Terry Hughes. Mark serves as the narrator, writing his journals about humanity's rebirth. The accidental nuclear war was caused by a missile launch during a parade. Multi-camera laugh-track sitcom about a literal nuclear apocalypse, complete with studio audience laughter. Stuart Penkin guest-starred as Santa Claus in a Christmas episode set in the radioactive ruins of America. David Lasher, fresh off his Hey Dude run on Nickelodeon, also guest-starred. 13 episodes were filmed. Only 10 aired before Fox canceled the show on December 6, 1992. In 2002, TV Guide named Woops the 42nd worst television show of all time. Critics called it post-apocalyptic Gilligan's Island. Number 2. Camp Wilder on ABC.
You guys got me a D.
How is that possible?
How is that possible? Well, for one thing,
in 1992, ABC's TGIF Friday Night Family Block was the most valuable real estate in network television. Family Matters, Full House, Step by Step, and Perfect Strangers were all top 30 hits. ABC needed one more sitcom to round out the block. They greenlit Camp Wilder. It was scheduled directly after Step by Step. Camp Wilder premiered on ABC on September 18, 1992. Mary Page Keller plays Ricky Wilder, a 28-year-old nurse and single mother whose parents have just died. She is now the guardian of her two younger siblings, 16-year-old Brody, played by Jerry O'Connell, 6 years after his iconic role as Vern in Stand By Me, and 3 years before he starred in Sliders, and 13-year-old Melissa, played by Megan Haldeman. Her own 6-year-old daughter, Sophie, is played by Tina Majorino, 12 years before Napoleon Dynamite and Veronica Mars. Ricky's home became a neighborhood hangout for the local teenagers and their friends. The casting was a who's who of future stars. Jay Moore, 2 years before Saturday Night Live and 4 years before Jerry Maguire, plays Brody's best friend Dorfman. An 18-year-old Hilary Swank, 6 years before her Oscar-winning performance in Boys Don't Cry, plays Melissa's friend Danielle. A 20-year-old Jared Leto, 22 years before his Oscar-winning performance in Dallas Buyers Club, recurred as Dexter, the motorcycle-riding bad boy that Hilary Swank's character had a crush on. Seth Green, 6 years before Buffy the Vampire Slayer, guest-starred. Beverly Garland, the matriarch from My Three Sons, played the grandmother. Created by Matthew Carlson, produced by AKA Productions and Capital Cities Entertainment. 19 episodes aired before ABC canceled the show on February 26, 1993. A 20th episode was filmed but never aired in the United States. Camp Wilder later became a surprise cult hit when it aired in the United Kingdom and Germany. Number 1. The Edge on Fox.
I don't see how you're going to force a tiny president to do your bidding either, sir.
Right, because he'd want to hide or run away from you.
In 1992, NBC rejected a sketch comedy pilot called The Julie Show, starring comedian Julie Brown and developed by writer David Merkin. Fox picked it up, retooled it, and renamed it The Edge. They had no idea what they had assembled. The cast and crew would, within 5 years, populate Friends, Seinfeld, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Simpsons Writers' Room, and the entire 21st century Oscar landscape. The Edge premiered on Fox on September 19, 1992. The lead was 38-year-old comedian Julie Brown of Earth Girls Are Easy and Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun. The Ensemble, a 23-year-old Jennifer Aniston, 2 years before Friends made her one of the biggest TV stars in history, Tom Kenny, 6 years before he voiced SpongeBob SquarePants, Wayne Knight, who had just appeared as the mailman Newman on Seinfeld earlier that year, Alan Ruck of Ferris Bueller, and the future Connor Roy on Succession, Paul Feig, the future creator of Freaks and Geeks and the director of Bridesmaids, Jill Taylor, future Mr. Show cast member and the future wife of co-star Tom Kenny. The Writers' Room was equally legendary. A pre-Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind Charlie Kaufman, 11 years before his Oscar nomination, was a staff writer. Ken Keeler, future Emmy-winning Simpsons and Futurama writer, was on staff. Show director David Merkin would shortly become showrunner of The Simpsons. Each episode opened with a running gag where the entire cast got killed off in different ways before the first commercial break. Aaron Spelling famously threatened to sue Fox over the show's repeated Beverly Hills 90210 parodies, including an impersonation of his daughter Tori Spelling. TriStar Television refused to apologize. 18 episodes aired. Fox canceled the show on May 2, 1993. The Edge remains in retrospect the most loaded pre-fame cast and writer's room of any single season sketch in comedy history. And that's a wrap. 10 forgotten 1992 to 1993 TV disasters. From Daniel Craig pre-Bond, to Jennifer Aniston pre-Friends, to Hilary Swank pre-Oscar, to Jerry O'Connell pre-Sliders, to Jared Leto pre-Dallas Buyers Club, to Charlie Kaufman pre-Eternal Sunshine, this single TV season was a pre-fame factory hiding inside the cancellation pile. Which of these forgotten shows do you actually remember watching back in the day? Did we miss your personal favorite forgotten 1992 show? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you're first in line for more forgotten shows. Thanks for watching.